Okay, folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier. This is going to be an instant movie review, about a day and a half late. But I did see a movie. It was a late night, kind of late, I guess, for me. 10 p.m., I think on, I guess it was Friday night. It was, blah, blah, blah. It was Women Talking. Sarah Polley directed it. And she wants everyone to know that Sarah Polley only wants to work with nice actors from now on. Agreeable people is who she's looking to work with. And I can understand that, having been around the block of the movie world. Hold on a minute, there's people coming. There's people. Family. Sarah Polley only wants to work with nice people. And I get it. I've been on film sets, big and small, and I know what she's talking about. There's a lot of people in the entertainment industry that are pains in the ass. I just hope she has luck with that. It's tough, I think, to avoid personality conflicts, let's call it that, in the film world. You just have so much ego, so much money. But apparently she had a wonderful time making this movie. Female-dominated cast. There are some male members in this thing, so to speak. But the women are talking. And who are these women? I want to say, there's automobiles in this movie, but it felt... it's kind of timeless. Spoilers, here we go. First of all, should you go see this movie? I'm going to say a maybe. I'm going to say it depends. Depends on a lot of things. So this is going to be kind of a complicated movie to review, but I'm going to give it a shot. I wanted to say this movie takes place like in the 1950s, perhaps, based on the automobiles that are seen, a few automobiles. I could be wrong, because the people in this movie are basically, they're like Quakers, the people in Pennsylvania that you see with the horse and buggy. Like that type of setup. I don't know if it's supposed to be an exact Quaker group or something similar or a fictional group, but it's definitely what some might call a religious group or some might call a cult. I would probably lean on the cult side of judgment from my perspective. The women are oppressed in this society. They are raped. That is clearly illustrated in the opening montages. So if you're sensitive to that type of thing, I don't know. That's a big part of this movie, is these women are feeling that they are at the mercy of these men who want to violate their bodies. And the men have been claiming for years, apparently, if not decades, I guess decades, that it's Satan or evil spirits that are coming to rape these poor women in the middle of the night. And the women finally catch one of these guys and expose that it hasn't been Satan, it hasn't been ghosts, it's been the men that are raping their own women, including there's hints of incest in this thing. It's kind of sad for the word incense, like the smoking sticks, that it's so close to the word incest. It's sad, you know what I mean? I feel bad for incense sticks in a sense. But in any event, let's move forth. So you got some, you're getting some heavy pounding of the emotional stuff in this film right away. This is not a kid's story, right? This is some intense stuff. And you feel for these women, and it's an all-star cast. And, I never saw those Girl with the Dragon Tattoo films from 10 years ago. Like everyone was supposed to go see the originals and then see the American remake or vice versa and compare and contrast. Well, I never saw any of them. But I know that, was it Rara Mooney or Cara Mooney? I'm trying to say her name right. My apologies. I think she's been in some James Bond movies at least one since. Her name came up at the end. But to be honest, I couldn't really remember. I couldn't put two and two together who she was, but her name was at the end. I did recognize my scene partner, Frances McDormand. You can watch me with a little scene with her in Olive Kitteridge on HBO. But Frances McDormand, who I also predicted would win an Oscar for the movie, the Billboards movie. You can look back on my review of that film, and I predicted she'd win the Oscar, and she did. So I am a big Frances fan, Frances Mick, Frances Mick, whatever. I'm a big fan of Frances McDormand. She's in this thing. So these women, once they've revealed that these creeps in their community are rapists and weirdos, they basically have a choice. They've been given 48 hours by the men to determine if they will forgive the rapists and move on, or they will have to leave the community. They being the women. So, I mean, it's not really fair, but that's the type of things that these cults do. There's a lot of misogyny or institutionalized misogyny, sexism in these type of cults, and I don't know why people join them. You've seen the Scientology, you've seen the Nexus stuff, all this crap. So these poor women, and unfortunately for them, none of them know how to read or write. So they have a man who's kind of a neutered cat. Thomas comes in and he sits there to take the notes, is what they say, to take the notes of the debate. So they're going to sit there, these women, there's about 30 of them that I guess are trying to represent, like there's a room of like 20 women, but later on there's more women in the movie, in the cult. So I guess these women are the chosen voters for some reason. But in any event, they debate and they draw. One of them draws 3 choices. One of them is to pretend like it never happened. And that's symbolized by just like a meadow of some type of thing. The second choice shows a really funny, I mean, I found it funny in a weird way, an illustration of a man and a woman, like the woman like with a fucking knife up to the man. Maybe the man had a weapon too, but it was like fight, stay and fight. And then the third one was a little cartoon of a horse, and that represented flee. So fight, flee, or forget. To put the 3 F's on it, I just came up with that spontaneously. And so the women have to vote. Do we fight? Do we flee? Or do we forget? And some of, as you might predict, some of the older women, the elders, want to just forget. Some of the more devout just want to forget. But a lot of them want to fight. And a lot of them want to flee. And good. You know what I mean? My whole life I've seen these stories of women in these abusive relationships and people in cults, male and female. But women especially in these abusive relationships, and you do want to say, get the fuck out, you know what I mean? And I know, it's more complicated than that. I've watched Oprah, I get it, but, you're kind of screaming at these people through the TV set, and to these characters' credit, I don't know if this was based on a true story, I don't think that it was, probably based on several stories, and so it's a hodgepodge, is what I would guess, but, I'm glad that these women decide what they decide. I'll just leave it like that. I won't spoil the movie for you. Now, should you go see it? Well, here's the thing. This movie, although it's really, it takes place in a prior generation, my guess is the 1950s, because a vehicle or two shows up that look like they're from the 1950s. My feeling, it did feel like this movie was, an obvious commentary on today's world. Like the more things change, the more things stay the same type of commentary. We haven't evolved as much as we would have had liked to type of commentary. I don't know how else to say this, but there's actually a female to male transgender character in this, which is fine, but it seemed a little forced, and it seemed, hey, look, like I said, you can criticize me if you want, but my own take is that it felt very much shoehorned into the story for a modern commentary. I could be fucking wrong. I could be wrong. But in any event, there is a female-to-male transgender character. That's one of the women, but I guess she's not one of the women anymore. Now she's living as a man, so that's brought up. But you know what? That's been going on for a long time, too. I mean, I think it was... the Woman King film had some eunuchs in that film. So hey, it's all rock and roll to me, right? So we move forth, and what do I think? I did feel like I was, how do I put this? I liked the movie making of this production more than I liked the message that was getting slapped upside my head for the whole fucking time. Like, and maybe I'm not supposed to like the message because I'm a male and a white male at that, evil. But I did like the movie. I did feel like the message, you know, you could be in 3rd grade and fucking get the message of this thing. But that's okay. I mean, I guess you have to play down to the audience at some points. I don't know. I do wish Sarah Polley and Associates, especially Frances McDormand, well. I do respect this movie. It's certainly not a good date movie. You know, like you take a woman to this movie, she might not talk to you at the end of the night. But in any event, good performances, good story. A good story, well told. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. You know, it's a movie I'm glad I saw it. It happened to be playing at the right time. I was the only person in the theater. I mean, the theaters here in Jacksonville, you can tell what movies aren't going to have a lot of fucking people in it. You know what I mean? In the auditorium. The horror movies are always going to get a good crowd. I just saw Infinity Pool. I'm going to do another review of that right now. Drinking this Gatorade too. Went to Taco Bell for lunch today, as an aside. And that grilled stuffed fucking burrito is pretty goddamn good. I've been getting the steak one. Today I tried to order the spicy chicken. They still gave me the fucking steak. And I always take the sour cream out of it. So I've learned with Taco Bell in the last 3 years, my batting average is about 60%. I get an accurate order from Taco Bell these days. So a whopping 40%. They're screwing something up. Either I ask for a substitution and they don't do it. Today they gypped me on the fucking cinnamon twists. The food was really good. It's just I didn't get everything I fucking ordered, and I wanted a spicy chicken soft burrito. They gave me the steak. So, I mean, and then I just hit the point where I don't feel like going back and complaining all the time or just requesting a fix. Because I feel like I'm doing that half my goddamn life. I'm at Taco Bell trying to get them to fix a fucking order. So maybe it's up to me to learn the lesson. If I want accurate service, don't go to fucking Taco Bell. But I try to be forgiving and go there. And I get fucked for my trouble. So that's it, folks. Mike Messier. Subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. Some nice comments recently. Faid, I believe his name. Nice gentleman. Comments quite a bit. Thank you, buddy. I'm glad you're enjoying. I hate when I mispronounce people's names, but I often do. But yeah, thanks for the nice comments, and I'm going to do my second review right now. So subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. And if you want to watch this in linear order, watch my next review of Infinity Pool.